Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be walking you through Mr. Circuit Lab Manual, lab number 19, found on page 38 in the Mr. Circuit Lab Manual. So let's go. First thing we want to do is open up our lab manuals to page number 38 and take a look at lab number 19. It's called the light controlled bird. If you take a look at the components that we're going to need for this circuit, you'll see that there are transistors, a photocell, and 2 capacitors. So let's go into Tinkercad and see how we can put this whole thing together. First, you're going to start by bringing in a breadboard. Notice I chose the slightly larger breadboard for this circuit because there are quite a few components that are going to be going in here. The next thing I want to do is start bringing in my components as they're listed in the Mr. Circuit Lab Manual. The first one is going to be the C1 0.01 UF disc capacitor. This is the blue one that shows up when we type in the word capacitor. Since mine's already on the screen, I'm just going to bring it in here and make sure that its value is set to 0.01 UF. Don't forget to change this value. Next thing in the Mr. Circuit Lab Manual is going to be our second capacitor. This is a 10 UF electrolytic capacitor. This is the one that looks a little bit more like a round battery. If I select the polarized capacitor from my Tinkercad menu, I should be able to bring this in and change its value to 10 UF. The voltage rating for this can be set anywhere from 9 to 16. I like to set it to 9 since we're using a 9-volt battery to power the circuit. The next thing in the lab manual is to bring in our 2 transistors. You're going to need a 3904 NPN and a 3906 PNP, so one of each. As I start to type in the word transistor, you'll see that it shows up here, and we have both of our transistors, our NPN as well as our PNP. The next thing in the Mr. Circuit Lab Manual is going to be our resistors. We need a 4.7 K ohm and a 620 K ohm resistor. As I bring in my 2 resistors, I can change the value to what it's supposed to be according to the Mr. Circuit Lab Manual, 4.7 K and 620 K. Now that I've got my resistors set, the next thing I'm going to do is bring in my speaker, my photocell, and my battery. All my components on the screen, the next thing I want to do is start lining them up according to the lab manual. First, let's start with our C1 disc capacitor. From the lowest left corner of the breadboard, all the way over 12 spaces in the board. Next, let's bring in our R1. This is going to be placed also in the first column, 3rd row, and then in the 8th column, 2nd row. Next, let's bring in our transistors. Our Q1 or 3904 is going to be placed so that its left leg is in the 7th column, top row. Our Q2 or 3906 is going to be spaced 1 square to the right of that. Next, let's bring in our speaker. The left leg of the speaker is going to be matched up just underneath the left leg of Q1. And the right leg of our speaker is going to be matched up just under the right leg of Q2. So now let's bring in our jump wire. That's going to be connected from the right leg of Q1 to the center leg of Q2. An additional jump wire is going to be added from the center leg of Q1 all the way over to where the right leg of our photocell is going to be. Next, let's put in our photocell. From the column just right of Q2's right leg to in line with the jump wire. We can then bring in our electrolytic capacitor so that the negative leg of the electrolytic capacitor is in the same column as the CDS cell, where the positive leg of the electrolytic capacitor will be a few rows to the right of the right leg of the CDS cell. Now we need a jump wire from the right leg of the capacitor positive lead to the left leg of Q2. We're almost there. The last thing we're going to do is place this battery. The battery is going to be positioned so that the positive lead of the battery is in the left leg of Q2, and the negative lead of the battery is in the left leg of Q1. The circuit looks complete. Now let's give it a test, see if we can hear anything come out of the circuit. Great, we have sound. Select the photoresistor and drag the dot up and down the photoresistor. This will increase or decrease the amount of light going into the circuit, which will either increase or decrease the tone of the speaker. Now that you've completed the circuit, go ahead and simulate the circuit, take a screenshot, and paste it into the Google Classroom document for lab number 19. That's all I have for this lab, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.